Hi, I'm Jim Luff, Marketing Manager for Chosen Payments. Welcome to another edition of The Chosen Scoop. This time we're taking it behind the scenes, and I'm going to introduce you to my counterpartner, Stephanie Arismendy at Aurora Payments. She's the marketing manager there. I'm the marketing manager for Chosen, but we're one big company, so we interface a lot. So, Stephanie, welcome to The Chosen Scoop.
Thanks, Jim.
And so tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been working for Aurora, where you came from before that, all the things that people want to know about you.
Okay, so I have been here close to 4 months now. I started in May, and previously, in my previous life, I kind of worked for something that I think created a great bridge to where I'm at now. So my previous company was an ed tech slash fintech. So really similar to kind of what we do. In this kind of niche way where Chosen Payments and Aurora Payments kind of work for the merchants. At my own job, I worked for students. So it was in the realm of higher education. And I really enjoyed that it was kind of like this niche market where we got to focus on one kind of audience and really learn the ins and outs of all of their needs, what they were facing on campus. And so here, the nice bridge is I get to learn about merchants, their different industries, what they're seeing in their industry and in their type of business. So I really enjoy how kind of streamlined the transition was and how specific what I'm doing is and how close I guess I am to the end result and the end user. So I get to hear their feedback really on a more granular level than working for like a bigger corporation. So, yep.
Yeah, I definitely think that an advantage to our job is because we get to go to so many different trade shows. We get to learn a lot of very unique things about the industries we serve. And I'm just going to take a little side detour here and tell you all about my first funeral directors convention because it was definitely a new experience for me. I had not previously done any work in the funeral industry. So, my first day at a funeral show, I had a man that was selling kind of a filler material when somebody's been injured in a car accident or something and they have to fill their face in. And the guy came out, he said, come here. I want you to feel this. It doesn't even feel waxy. Touch it. And I said, no, I'm good. And he's like, why won't you touch it? And I finally had to tell him, so I'm kind of in the funeral business, but we process credit cards for funeral homes, cemeteries, and cremation facilities. So I'm not an embalmer. I'm not a funeral director. I would never have reason to touch that, whatever it is. And he started laughing and he said, oh, I kind of get that now, that was probably a little creepy to you. And I said it was creepy. But I mean, whether it's the funeral industry or we're seeing behind the scenes in jewelry, or I've attended a chiropractor convention where I got my back adjusted like 3 times in one day, so people could try out these tables. Anyway, take us through a typical day, Stephanie, of like what you might do. What have you accomplished today, and what do you hope to accomplish before the end of today?
Today specifically.
Sure.
So one of my favorite parts about my job actually is that I am kind of like a jack of all trades. And so where marketing, as you know, sometimes can get really niche, like, you can be in digital marketing, or you can specifically just write emails all day and email templates, or you could just be a social media marketer. I get to kind of wear a lot of different hats. So maybe for 1 hour of the day, I am an email marketer. And like today I was when I got to work. And, the other half of the day, you could be a digital marketer where you're really just thinking about at a higher level outreach strategies to write compelling messages to whoever your audience is, whether you have one audience or two audiences. And so I really like how dynamic it is in the different kind of industries that we work in, because I am writing different kinds of messaging all day. And then on top of that, I'm also doing all kinds of marketing. So sometimes I'm planning social media content. That was another part of my day to day, just planning what we're going to write on our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and our LinkedIn. Getting to message people on there, respond to comments. And then other times I'm just working with our graphic designer to kind of decide on a look and feel for a specific campaign, although right now we're working on some fun stuff that we'll reveal later about our brand that I won't go into too much. But yeah, so a lot of my job requires me to be really dynamic and to really focus on different parts of marketing, which was another reason why I found this job to be so lucrative. It's not a lot of times that you get put or thrown into a job or accept a job where you're going to be able to use or try to fine tune a lot of different skills at the same time. Like, a lot of times I guess it gets a little monotonous depending on what kind of marketing you do. So I really love that I get to do all kinds of different marketing. So today I've done email, social media, done some design work, and I really enjoy that so far.
Yeah, and I think that in that regard, our jobs are very similar. And the one thing that you mentioned at the very beginning is that we do have to be a jack of all trades. And this morning, I got a phone call from our director of sales, Brandon Anderson, who told me that he's going to a show next week, and he needs to get his shipping case there with all of our brochures and the things that we're going to need. And so my entire morning has been spent arranging shipping. And you wouldn't really think that that's a job of a marketing manager. However, we can't market effectively if we don't have the tools at the exhibit, which means having things to give away when you walk by our booth, having flyers to give away, and having staffing. And so there's a lot that goes on for a convention. We don't simply show up and open a box and we're ready to go. It's all very well thought out, and it's part of a team effort to make sure that everything gets to where it needs to be and the right people are there and we're ready to receive you when the convention hall opens. So I too find my job to be very rewarding, that it's varied, and again, you might be making a design in the morning, and in the afternoon you're answering routine emails, or in many cases I'm called upon to write communications letters for staff members at either Aurora or Chosen that are external communications that need to be written, whether that's a press release or just a basic letter to somebody. And I think that Stephanie, you probably cross into customer service as well, right? And occasionally you have to talk to a customer that has an issue with their account, and maybe they're not happy, or maybe they want to sing praise. Either way, it comes to us so that we can filter it through the organization and recognize those people that deserve to be recognized, and those people that slipped, we'll deal with them too, right? So looking forward in the future, Stephanie, what's the next trade show that you'll be attending?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I think it's going to be a big one in October, and it might be, I'm not sure if it's a funeral one or a transportation one, but like you said, we wear so many hats and work in so many different industries that it's really kind of fun to try to align yourself and kind of switch hats. So we'll see. I'm hoping to attend one as soon as October, so we'll see kind of what's lined up next. But it is funny that you say that and what our jobs entail, because I think for the rest of the day, I am going to be wearing my swag ordering hat. So what you said was right on the nose. It's funny, not a lot of people think about, when you're actually at the trade show and being really active and filling your bag up with swag, the amount of work that goes into ordering things and trying to think to yourself, what are people going to like? What's going to make people come to our booth, say hi? Are people going to use this one time, or are they just going to throw it away? And did we just spend how much money on it, for someone to just toss it to the side? So it's always fun to try to think of things from an end user's perspective, whether that be a merchant or an association partner who's attending a trade show, and trying to think of things that are really useful to them. So it is really exciting to kind of think about the future and think what's going to be popular then. What are people going to need then? So like October, right? Should I be ordering some fall items? Should I be ordering some cool blankets, some hats? So there's a lot of time and effort that goes into just thinking about that and the whole process and ordering it and getting proofs and emailing with vendors back and forth to see, what their stock is. I know that trade shows are kind of ramping up right now. So yeah, what you see is what you get. And when you're at the trade show, it's just incredible to think about the amount of time, effort, manpower, and work that went into all of those thousands of items that you see on the floor that you probably don't think about for more than 2 seconds. But that's what I love about this job. It's so fun to try to put yourself in people's shoes and to try to kind of be someone else for a minute.
Yeah, and I think, what you're talking about, the swag, I'm gonna excuse me. I'm gonna take our audience back to a project that you and I jointly worked on, where we were talking about buying swag. And so, here's a behind the scenes look that I didn't intend to share today, but really Stephanie brought up a great point that we don't just call a Chotsky vendor and say, send us what you have and whatever it is we put out on the table. A conversation starts with Stephanie and I about what we want to put on the table that's going to be useful to you. And it may be different at one trade show versus another trade show, but we might think of something like portable battery charging packs that you can get. But we want you to know that we're not going out and buying these chargers willy-nilly. I mean, we're looking for a good quality product, because if we give you a charger that has our name on it and it doesn't work after the second day, number one, you're going to throw it in the trash. And number two, it probably doesn't leave you with a good feeling about our company, even though we don't have anything to do with battery chargers. But we understand that everything we give you is representation of our company. So when Stephanie and I first started this project, we basically go to all of the vendors that we buy products from and we ask them what's hot right now at shows, and let them make recommendations. Then we take their recommendations and say, well, does this work good for funeral directors? Does this work good for jewelers, or whatever kind of show we're going to be at? And then, as Stephanie mentioned, there's the whole proofing process of getting a sample and looking what it's, seeing what it's going to look like. So just buying goods to give away to you at our trade show is a really big deal. And we really do care about what we give you. And we try to choose items that would be of value to you. Well, we are over our 10-minute time, Stephanie. I promised you I wouldn't keep you longer than 10 minutes. And we're already at 11 minutes, but we've been having a great time. And hopefully those of you that are watching learned a little bit more about what we do behind the scenes. And Stephanie, any parting comments that you'd like to make before we say goodbye?
I'm just looking forward to getting to actually meet everyone and all of our end users and everyone who's going to use our tchotchkes, or who I'm going to send an email to. It's fun to put faces to names. So just excited to get out there to the first trade show.
Absolutely. And me the same. We're Chosen Payments is going back out on the road. You'll see us at a trade show coming up, and there's a good chance that Stephanie will be there or I will be there. Thank you for joining another episode of The Chosen Scoop. We hope to see you back here next time. I'm Jim Luff with Stephanie Arismendy, and she's with Aurora Payments. Thanks for joining.